I'm Jenna, and this is Learn Academic English, where I teach intermediate and advanced level English lessons. Today I'm continuing my series about phrasal verbs, and I'm going to present 14 phrasal verbs with the verb get. The reason that I'm doing this series of videos about phrasal verbs is that phrasal verbs are a nightmare to learn. I know that they are just torture. And the reason that they are so hard is that there are so many of them. They are super common. We use them all the time. Sometimes they have a specific meaning that we don't have another way to express. So in order to express that meaning, you have to know the phrasal verb. And there's a lot of grammar that you have to remember. Is the phrasal verb separable or inseparable? What word comes after it? So phrasal verbs are very difficult, but if you take it step by step and try to learn a few at a time, you can do it. Now, there are many videos about phrasal verbs on YouTube, but I hope that my videos will help you to understand exactly how to use them and will help you focus on the most important or the most common ones. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to please give this video a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want more lessons like this one. So first, let's run through very quickly a few tips for learning phrasal verbs. Number 1, use a good online dictionary to help you learn the meaning and see examples. I love to use the Longman Dictionary online, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. But there are many other online dictionaries that you can use, but make sure that it's an ESL dictionary because that's going to have clear definitions and really good examples. Number 2, make sure that you learn exactly what the structure is of that phrasal verb. And I'll show you some examples today, but you want to know what comes after that phrasal verb, or can you put something in between the verb and the particle? So again, we'll talk about that today, but that's super important. Next, don't forget that we always stress the second word in the phrasal verb. For example, get over. Get over. We don't say get over, we say get over. And that's a particular rule for phrasal verbs that we stress the particle or the second word. And finally, make sure that you know if you're learning American or British English and then focus on phrasal verbs that are American or British. There are some phrasal verbs that are different, and I'll give you an example later today, but try not to learn both because it might get confusing. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Get over something. Get over something. Get over something means to recover from something. And we use this to talk about recovering from an illness or to recover from a really difficult situation. And the way that you can remember this is that it's like to overcome. Get over something. Think about like the problem, like a mountain, and you have to get over that problem. For example, I'm getting over a cold. This is something that we use if we have been sick, and then as we are recovering, we say, I'm getting over a cold, or I'm just getting over COVID. Or, for example, after they broke up, he never got over it.
You can finally get over her.
What does this mean? This means that he and his girlfriend broke up, but he was never able to get over that situation. He was never able to move on. He never got over it. Got over. Now remember with the pronunciation that you're going to stress the particle, but also another really important thing that I forgot to mention before is that if the second word starts with a vowel, you have to link those words together. Got over. Got over. So with the phrasal verb get over, you can get over something. So you can get over a cold, get over an illness, or if we already know what we're talking about, then we can replace it with the pronoun it. Get over it. Okay, second, get it over with. So this one you have to remember all 4 words. They all go together. And to get it over with means to do something that you don't want to do.
Get it over with.
For example, I don't want to go to the doctor, but I may as well get it over with. Get it over with. Get it over with. Again, that means that you have to do something that you really don't like, but it's important and you need to do it. Next, to get up. Now you know this one. This is a common one, but we can't forget it. We have to include it because it is so common. So to get up means to stand up. Like if you're sitting down, you can say get up.
Get up.
Or to get out of bed. For example, what time do you usually get up? I could say, I usually wake up around 6:30, but I get up at 7. And second, everyone get up and find a partner. So that again would mean stand up, get out of your seat. Next, to get on with something. To get on with something is to continue. For example, we had a problem with our project, but now let's get on with it. Get on with it.
Get on with it!
Here again, we know what we're talking about, but we could also replace this it with a noun. We could say, we're running late, let's get on with our project. Okay, let's look at the next ones. Get out. Get out can mean to be dismissed or to leave. So let's look at the first meaning. What time does your class get out? Or what time does school get out? That means what time are you dismissed? What time are you allowed to leave? In the second meaning, to leave, we often use this if there's been an argument or if you want to talk strongly to someone. For example, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You need to get out.
Get out!
So that means you need to leave. But get out would mean, to leave, but in a way that I don't want you here anymore. Next, to get down. Get down is something that we use in a pretty specific situation. We use this like to dance or to party. For example, we might say, it's time to get down, meaning it's time to start dancing. It's time to have fun.
Get down tonight.
And to get someone down is different. To get someone down means to make someone feel bad or to make someone sad. His lack of friends is starting to get him down. This one also has the idiom get down to business, and that would mean to focus. We could say, for example, oh, we've been relaxing enough, now it's time to get down to business. Next, to get into something. To get into something has two meanings. First, to get accepted to a program or a school, a university. So this means that you have to apply for a program or a school, and if they accept you, then we say, I got into the place.
I got into Princeton!
For example, I applied to Harvard and Yale, but I didn't get into Yale. In the second meaning, it means to be interested or to feel absorbed in something. For example, I'm getting into this class. I'm getting into this class means I'm starting to feel interested in it. I feel excited and absorbed in the information. Next, we have another super common phrasal verb, to get along or to get along with someone. To get along means to have a good relationship. For example, I'm lucky because I get along with my boss. My boss and I have a good relationship. Notice that get along is the phrasal verb, and then we can get along with someone. Next, my coworkers and I get along well. So here we're not going to say with who because we already know my coworkers and I. But sometimes we will add a word like well to show how we get along. We get along well. Next, to get at. To get at means to hint or imply. And we often use this as a question when we're wondering like, what is this person trying to say? What is this person implying? So when we're listening to someone, we might ask them, what are you getting at?
What are you getting at?
Now, this is something that we would not use in formal situations or with people whom we don't know well. This is more something that we would use if we're talking to someone we're very close with, because it's a little bit confrontational. It means like, I feel like you're beating around the bush. You're not talking to me directly. What are you getting at? Next, to get by, and we can also use the prepositions on or with something. This is a super common phrasal verb that means to have just enough.
Money, you can get by on your salary.
For example, my Spanish isn't good, but it's enough to get by. It's enough for me to do basic things. Or, I can't get by on minimum wage. This means that I can't survive. I can't live on such a small amount of money. So again, to get by means to have just enough. And here in the negative, we often use it to talk about money. I can't get by on minimum wage. I can't get by on $10 an hour. Okay, then the next one is to get away, and you know this. This means to escape or also to not be punished. For example, we can say the thief got away. The thief escaped. Or how about the second one, to not be punished? Watch out for Bill. He'll cheat if he thinks he can get away with it. Get away with it.
You will never get away with this.
Get away with what?
And for the last ones, first, to get around to something. To get around to something means to finally do something that you've been avoiding or postponing.
Coming along.
I'll get around to it.
For example, I haven't had time to clean my house, but I hope to get around to it tomorrow. Now, if we don't know what we're talking about, we could replace this with a noun or with a gerund, like I need to get around to cleaning my house. Next, to get back. To get back is to return. And this you should be able to remember because you know that back means to return. For example, what time did you get back last night?
And what time did you get back home?
What time did you come home? What time did you return? Or to get back at someone. To get back at someone is to get revenge or to do something to hurt someone who did something bad to you.
Just to get back at me for running.
For example, after I broke up with him, he tried to date my friend just to get back at me. To get back at someone, to get revenge. Okay, so let's practice these phrasal verbs that we learned today. I'm going to show you a few sentences and you're going to try to put the correct phrasal verb into the sentences. And don't forget to get the handout that I linked in the description box below. That has all the meanings and example sentences to help you. Let's practice the phrasal verbs that we learned today by taking this short quiz. I'm going to show you 5 sentences and hopefully you have that handout or you made a list of the phrasal verbs that we learned today. And you're going to try to fill in the sentence with the correct phrasal verb. I'll ask you to pause the video after we look at them, and then we'll come back and check our answers together. Number 1, when students take online classes, they can a lot more than they can in class. So, for example, they can maybe take a nap or look at their phones if they're taking an online class. Number 2, I can't believe Janice said that about me. She's probably trying to, for what happened last month. Number 3, I applied to 3 colleges, but only 2 of them. Number 4, he thinks he can hide, but he's not gonna. Someone will eventually find out. Number 5, I'm so upset at him. I don't know if I'll. Now remember, for some of these, you have to add a pronoun to complete the sentence. Like this one, you're going to need to add the phrasal verb plus a pronoun for it to make sense. Okay, pause the video, fill in the sentences, and then we'll check our answers. So let's check our answers. Number 1. When students take online classes, they can get away with a lot more than they can in class. Number 2, I can't believe Janice said that about me. She's probably trying to get back at me for what happened last month. Number 3, I applied to 3 colleges but got into only 2 of them. Number 4, he thinks he can hide, but he's not going to get away with it. Someone will find out eventually. Number 5, I'm so upset at him. I don't know if I'll get over it. So I hope that today's lesson of phrasal verbs with the verb get helped you learn these common phrasal verbs. Don't forget to get the handout. I left a link in the description box below. You can keep that to study at home. And please don't forget to give this video a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want more lessons like this one. I'll be back soon with another video about phrasal verbs. In the meantime, don't hesitate to ask if you have questions, and I'll see you soon.